guys, and welcome back to another Ellimacs SFX makeup tutorial. Today we're doing Venom, as I really hope that you get because of the mask that I'm holding up. We have decided to make this mask. It's an actual mask that you can wear. We debated for quite some time on whether or not to make a mask or a makeup with prosthetics, but we decided that this was the best way to get all the features that we wanted to into this look. So I think it's actually the first time we make an actual mask to put on your face, on your head, in this size, like this, that is actually all the way around look and not just the front. But yeah, so with this mask you can actually see out through these holes right here. You can breathe through your nose and you can breathe through your mouth. All you gotta do is cut it up in the back. I haven't, because this has been on display in the Venom booth at Comic-Con Stockholm, I think last weekend, and that was so much fun, so that's why it's not cut up, and we want to keep this on display, so I'm not going to cut it up, but it's a simple snip snip. And also I just want to remind you before we get this tutorial started, because we're so proud of this. I'm super proud of how this turned out, so I really hope you like it. It would be so weird if you didn't, because I really do. But I will be at Comic-Con Paris in the end of October. That is 26th to 28th of October. I will be there. I will be doing some light makeup. You can meet me, say hi, do things you do at Comic-Cons. I'll be there, and I really hope you will too. Yes. So enjoy this video, subscribe, and push the like button and tell us what you want to see next.
This tutorial requires intermediate skills, takes a few hours to prep since there is a lot of drying processes here, and application time is basically instant since it's mask. The money we spent went into that foam head as well as ellimorph plastic. The other things we had laying around. We are going to start off with the basic shape of the face and the color, namely the green paper in this case. Basically a circular paper cut out and placed around the base of our foam head. We also tape on a flimsy white mask to have the basics for a face there. And this of course is mainly used so that we know where to align the eyes and where we need holes for breathing. Stage 1 is papier mache, and to create this you need basic hobby glue and water in equal parts, mix it down, and then simply dip newspapers straight into that mix and paste it on. The trick here of course is to create a sturdy construction, and for that we're gonna need a few layers. So apply a layer after layer and leave it all to dry. As always, a reference image is what you need to get things in the right shape. So find yourself a nice image and start creating the outlines of the jaws. We are using basic aluminium foil, creating two jaw pieces like that, and we also create a forehead piece here to sort of build out and extend the face, because our little flimsy mask and head here is a bit small. So there you go. Basic glue, stick it in place, and to take away a few extra edges and also to strengthen the construction, we go in with additional tape to keep things in place. And like I said, it also bridges all the gaps here so that we can put the papier mache straight on it without starting to build too many layers. Before we begin with the basics for the tongue, we need to make sure we can breathe properly, so we cut out that hole for the mouth and the nostrils. And then we cut up a plastic mug like this, making sure we have a large hole there in the bottom from which we can suck in air. Glue that in place. That mug will be the base for our tongue, and the tongue we create again with aluminium foil. You can make it any shape you like, twist it, twirl it around, and this is where you really can personalize that Venom mask. A few layers of that aluminium foil, push it in, shape it, and simply glue it in place. And again, you can go in adding additional tape for support and then continue with the papier mache. And to thicken the whole forehead, we again use tape to bridge the gaps here. And then onto the papier mache again, leaving holes for the eyes, of course. And now you should be just about ready with the base of your mask. Heading on for detailing of the jaws with liquid latex paste. Basic liquid latex mixed with baking flour, and you have a perfect, nice paste that you can use to shape and create details of the jaw. I will link our ultimate latex paste guide in the description so that you can get your mix just perfect. And with a brush with additional liquid latex on, we can start shaping, trimming, and smoothing things out. And this is basically the gum for the inner part of the mouth. And since we are speaking of a mouth, we will need teeth, and we need a bunch of teeth like this. These are created with ellimorph plastic. And we have created countless tutorials on how to create these teeth, so I will link one in the description below. You need a lot of them, and you need to sink them into that paste. When you're done, leave the whole thing to dry overnight. And when we're back, yep, we need to thicken that head even more. And while we're at it, we just fill that eye socket there with black because we don't want anything shining through there. Additional papier mache layer on top of that. And then it's time for the eyes, and again it's important that you have a nice reference image. So there's the shape of the eye. You simply do a little outline here so that we know where to put latex or not, because now we're going to create the lips. And a funny thing is that you see that we have covered those eye sockets, but the trick here is that we're actually gonna be looking out through a little dent and bump in the upper lip. Coming to that shortly. Alright, creating that lip. Nice little line there, dividing the gum and the lip. Continuing right there with the upper lip, which also goes up into the sides there of the eyes. And now we're coming up to those two little dents or waves in the lip where we will actually be looking out. So we do a little dent like that and equal one on the other side, and these will be used for us to peek out of later. We will cut a hole straight through. We keep using the latex paste to build up around the eyes as well, making sure we get the same texture here on the whole face. Funny story, you know Venom, it's like poison, right? So Venom in Swedish is gift, and the thing is that the word gift also means, translated to English, married. So the word for marriage is the same as poison. Go figure. And while we're at it, the tongue as well, of course. Then we use a blow dryer to make sure all that latex paste is dry to the touch. Doesn't have to be super dry, just the surface of it. And when that's done, we go over it one time with basic hobby glue to give it a sort of shine. The same texture all over the whole thing. And again, we leave this to dry overnight. And while you leave that to dry, check out Linus's amazing creations here. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. And like I said, we will be looking out through the lips, so we cut out that dried up latex paste and punch a hole straight through there into our flimsy plastic mask, so our eyes will be aligned. Then we go in with some hot glue to create veins and blood vessels that will appear underneath the skin here. This will give the whole collar piece, neck piece, a nice cool texture. We also add a little dots and dents there on the tongue. And to make sure it looks like those veins are under the skin, we add a little layer of glue on top of it. And when that's dry, it's gonna look like those veins are underneath the skin. Then we have a process, pulling out all the teeth, and we suggest you put them on a piece of tape here like Ellie does, to make sure you know which tooth goes where, because they're all going back in later on after the paint job. And this being the gum of a monster, we start off with a nice red tone here. Mixing that in with a bit of darker tones there and the deeper areas to give the whole thing more depth. All the hollowed areas get that dark, nice color. And we fade that out as we close in on the tongue. The deeper we are, the darker the color. And with the gum paint in place, we can start with the outside, which of course is just plain black. For our tongue, we continue with a little bit more red in the base, going outwards, covering the whole thing. And of course, to keep this from looking too flat and too boring, we go in and we fade out darker tones from inside the mouth, going out over the tongue. We will revisit the paint job of the tongue, but first let's do some teeth. A basic beige tone here, and with the base coat in place, we glue all those teeth right back in there. And after that, we go in and darken down the base of those teeth even more. We also mix in various white shades there, going from the top down. And since we are on the topic of white color, we go in for the eyes as well, because they are going to be white. And of course we need to paint that mask in its entirety, so we go in with additional black there to cover up the whole back. And then we go back to that tongue and that paint job with a little bit of white. Keep it more dynamic and changing in color. A little less super red this way. Some final detailing on those tips of the teeth. And then a coat of glossy spray to make the whole thing glossy and shiny. And then you're done. Of course, we need to cut up that collar piece in the back so that we can get this thing on our head. But that's one awesome looking mask. We think this came out truly amazing, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, give us a subscription. We are closing in on that 1 million subscriber. We've got more stuff in the pipeline. We also have more giveaways and fun stuff this Halloween. So be sure to check out our Instagram, Ellimacs SFX, to keep track of all that. See you soon. Love you. Bye.